Whether you are on an adventure or at the downtown cafe, your answers are no more than a sniff away. Dog Training 360's purpose is simple: to teach you why dogs do what they do, as well as the action steps you need to take to have better communication, connection, consistency, and conceivability with your dog. We're going to start out the new year talking really about our dogs and some goals that we have for this new year. And you know, Shannon, you and I have been fighting colds and
every virus under the sun.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so I feel like December was a month of hibernating and just trying to get by each. I think maybe November and December, honestly, that we're just trying to get by, just trying to make it happen. And we had some fun in December when we had our themes with the dogs and the holidays and the elf and all of that and working on our own dogs. And a lot of the stuff that happened in December for me really triggered a time to really light a fire under me and get going with some personal goals that I have with my dogs, because you realize quickly that when you're trying to accomplish something and you haven't done training, it doesn't work very well. And so, you know, on top of just trying to stay in hibernation and not get everybody else sick and just trying to exist, I feel like we're both at a point to set some goals and move forward with a new 2020 and get into a little bit more on specifics of training this year on our podcast, and get into some of the nitty-gritty of training. And so today I just want to talk about really kind of, you know, give us, you know, I'll talk about mine as well, but Shannon, give us a recap on, you know, year 3 and maybe some of the from physical and, you know, training challenges that you've had and kind of where you see you want to go with year 3.
Sure. So we'll start with Louis, since I've had him the longest.
Yeah.
So Louis had some, he always has weird medical problems because he's a Frenchie, and also because I feel like since I worked at the vet, somehow my dogs have weirder medical problems than like the rest of the world.
Right.
So Louis actually has been suffering from Bell's palsy.
Just so crazy.
November, which dogs do get. Usually it's caused by an inner ear infection. He did not have one, so his is just totally random. He is getting better, though. He has reflexes back in his eyelid, so he is blinking his eyelid now. But it's been several months of him, you know, with his face paralyzed. So he's been kind of on a roller coaster of being grumpy or being kind of feeling so sick that he wants to do nothing, or then feeling better and being more sassy, getting grumpy again, being more friendly. So it's been a roller coaster of emotions for him. So now that he's feeling better, he is more like wanting to play and wanting to do things that he normally did before he got sick. So he's just kind of on a path of recovery and being normal and having a normal routine again. Also, I've been sick, and I know because I'm like the power of the house, I guess we'll say. And so if I'm sick, then the dogs think they can be more naughty because I'm not like in charge anymore because I'm sick, right? So they can do whatever they want. So we've kind of had a rough kind of training kind of months because I'm sick and I can't be as physically present to do the training. But then at the same time, they know that I can't follow through with things. And so we've kind of had a naughtier kind of like last 3 months at this house. So we're getting back to like, no, we don't get away with this, and no, you know, kind of stuff. That's just with everybody in general. So Ripley has graduated to sleeping in the bed.
Yay.
Because she is not been destroying things or going to the bathroom in the house at night. So that's a big accomplishment for her. So that's pretty much her 2-year mark in this house. Look at that.
You did it.
So and Louis has graduated to just being out in the house all the time. Like just
so he's not having to be in his crate when you're gone. Nice.
Nope. So he's out all the time.
Good.
Dutch is still on a kennel routine.
Yep.
She's not quite there yet. She has a lot more of just that naughty growing up on the ranch kind of things that I think is just going to take a longer time to get over. We had a little pee accident on the bed with her during this holiday. So we're back to really, really strict kennel training with her. But she's just loving her life and being outdoors. We tried getting into training, and then I got sick. And then I couldn't. I wasn't physically able to go and do any training with her. So coming for the new year, everybody's gonna get better.
Yep.
And we're gonna get into herding with her. And then I think for Ripley, who I've done no training with except for like, let's be a good dog and be part of the pack and be in the house. I think maybe we could do something fun with her. Yeah. Like little agility or something, because she's really, really smart. And she really likes little teeny detailed like her little mind likes little games kind of. So I think we could do some kind of little game kind of things with her to just have a little fun.
Right.
So she could have a little fun.
Give a little direction to her.
That's really just trying to get everyone better.
Back into sync, back into good routines. Yeah. Where do you feel like with Louie being sick, how it impacted the rest of the dogs?
Well, I have a kind of a weird pack as far as the dogs go, where all of the dogs are really the most connected to me. They're really not. Sometimes, like, if you already have a dog and you get a new dog, the new dog is connected to the other dog. That's an issue that people have that comes up with training a lot, I feel. So the dog is more interested in what the other dog's doing than they are with you. Yeah. So all of my dogs are really more interested in me anyway, and to a certain degree don't care what the other dogs do. But then, like, the longer we live together and the more they like each other, and the more they all have to go outside together, like, they'll wait. Why aren't you coming outside? We all have to go outside together. Or why aren't you coming in the car? We all have to go together. So him being sick is just, he got really grumpy, and so everyone's just kind of like, oh, just leave him alone. And now that he's feeling better and wanting to play, they're like, oh, yay, we're back to normal. We can all play. But they're really more connected to me and what I'm doing and what I think we should do than they are to each other. Yeah. And what's going on with each other for the most part.
Right. Yeah. And then how do you feel like where Mike is the softer one, and, Chris is at our house as well, but, you being sick, did they take advantage of him more, or did they just say, so I'll take advantage of Shannon being down and just not necessarily follow all the rules?
I think that, well, in the past, like when we first because we kind of got all the dogs all at the same time, because we had Louie for a really long time. Yep. And then boom, all of a sudden we had a whole bunch of dogs. Yeah. And during that time, they really, really would take advantage of Mike really badly. Yeah. Like, I felt like I could not go anywhere because every time I came home, then there was like this huge disaster. Yeah. Like, they ate the sofa. Like, that didn't happen. Yeah. But like to that level of, that I'm just like, I just can't go anywhere. Like, this is ridiculous. And so, really, we're over that, where they still do take advantage of Mike. Yeah. But it's a lot better than it used to be when I come home.
Not so extreme.
Yeah, I feel like it's not a whole disaster. Right. And I'll come home and he'll say, oh, the dogs have been really good. And then I like go check around all the house, like what's been eaten or whatever. And nothing's been eaten. Yay. And even like the other day I had a absent mind moment where, like, I normally put all the dogs in the kennel to leave. Yeah. Like, we went to go have dinner with Mike's family. Yeah. And then when we came home, we opened the door and Ripley's little head poked out the door. Hello, we're home. And I had forgotten to put her into the kennel. So then I had to go check around the whole house. Yeah. And everything was fine. Good. Like, she didn't eat anything. Yeah. So yeah, it's just more... It was more of a, like, in general, we're sort of not following the rules. Yeah. But it was at a much higher level than like a couple years ago. Right. When we first got all the dogs and everything was like a total disaster. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I felt like something was eaten when I would come home every time, like somebody's shoe, somebody's pillow,
Yeah.
somebody's blanket, somebody's whatever. And,
Yeah.
and so we're over that.
Good.
Like the destruction
Yeah.
of things in our
Yeah.
house is way, way down.
Yeah.
But
Good. So my goals and where I'm at, it's kind of up and coming and new, really, because, we've just really, 2019 was really a year of leveling out and setting new goals and finding kind of a direction. I feel like for all of us, a shift in staff, even, getting back to the roots of training, and me getting back to the roots of training. And so it's fun to now feel like everything's kind of leveled out again, and things are going to start functioning, that we finally get to kind of start playing a little bit more and doing a little bit more. And so Patsy's career is going to be taking off this year, and she will should be ready to start trialing in March, when everything starts up again. And then we have a new border collie coming on board, and most likely she's going to be another old woman country singer that's like Patsy Cline. So we'll see what name Chris picks out for her. Right now she's known as Shoe. And the goal with her will be to trial her and get her trained up, and then start a really more of a city cowgirl philosophy of training with the stock dogs, so that you have gentler, polite border collies that can live with people in the city, that can still go out and do that, and kind of feel like, you can be a country girl, or and go and work your dog and have fun, but still have a dog that's decent at home. So so that's where that's at, and we will be starting a breeding program to some extent, probably in 2021. And then Miss Caroline really hasn't been trained at all. It's kind of like on the Ripley path, right? We just learned to
live and not, you don't want to kill him.
Yeah. And Caroline's still on the chewing, and, she's decided that she can get up on things like Patsy can.
Oh.
So we found new things to chew on that's up higher.
Oh.
And so she's in a naughty stage, but it's time to get training. And I was thinking the other day that you and I should train together on just training, with Caroline and Ripley, and even Dutch and Patsy, just get into this working some obedience stuff, because we just haven't.
Nope.
And so those are really Caroline. I hope to eventually breed her in a couple of years, but I want to get some kind of title or some kind of working, probably hunting of sorts, with her, just because I feel like we need to have a dog that does something, not just because we're breeding a dog. I want to take on, and if I'm going to breed, I want to take on her good lines and what she has to offer. And so, but that all takes period obedience training,
right,
for her, and just really making and teaching her the toe the line with obedience, where if I tell her to heel, she'll come in to heel off leash, with no problem. So this one thing that I hope to do with Caroline is to build our YouTube channel of her training, because she's really coming in to 2020 not having any, she doesn't know down. I mean, she'll lay down. I can coax her into a down, but she doesn't know what the words are. She doesn't really know sit, and she doesn't know leash manners. She is working on going to her bed, and she's getting fairly decent at it. But it's not great. And so my goal is to YouTube her journey, because it will be like anybody else starting out. And so that's the goal with Caroline, is really get her to the point that she's fully trained and responsive and listening, and not on her own agenda.
Well, and I feel like personally with my dogs I am a firm believer of you have to be so consistent all the time.
Yeah.
And I felt like I've been so sick that I can't be consistent, so I didn't want to start.
Yep. Exactly.
I mean?
Yeah.
And so like now that I'm feeling better, I feel like I can be consistent enough to follow through, so I can start like with a plan.
Yep.
But I didn't want to start and then not follow through with it and like create a big problem.
Yeah. And that's what I feel like, with 2019, even with Caroline, it's like, yep, we'll just kind of let her grow up and we can stay consistent at the house manners and living because we can be consistent that way. But just really the way the business shifted a lot in 2019 and trying to figure out what direction we were really headed in. It was really a time that we couldn't stay on top of it no matter what. So I feel like that you and I have a good direction. I'm excited to see, when you were not sick and you were out working Dutch those handful of times.
It was going good.
She was really, and so, I'm excited to see and to get her out and going again and then just really working the dogs and getting it up on YouTube so people can see what we're talking about in this journey. And we'll just kind of recap every couple months or so on where we're at and what we're doing and let everybody go on this journey with our own dogs and that people think that, you're dog trainers and you run a dog training business that you should have perfect dogs and it's really kind of not that way overall.
Well, and I think like people need to examine their definition of what they think is perfect.
Yeah.
Because even though our dogs aren't trained,
right,
we still think they're perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're great.
Like
I'm not afraid to introduce them to anybody, but you still are like, oh
yeah. They're not trained,
yeah.
And so I think you have to not be so hard of your expectations of what you think perfect should be.
Yeah.
Like when you're training, people out there in the land listening to our podcast is like your perfect dog, like can live in your house and be a part of your family and be a part of your pack. And do things that are like important to you.
Yeah.
And things that aren't important to you, for the most part, it really doesn't matter if your dog can do it or not.
Yeah. Right.
And don't harbor these feelings of like that you think someone else thinks your dog should do this or that.
Yep.
And therefore it makes them an imperfect dog.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had a client that, she's got a leash reactive dog and she's like, it's just embarrassing. And I'm like, yeah, but you're the only one thinking that. Because 90% of the people out there have unruly dogs that they're just like, oh, does nobody see this happening? And and so, that's a very true statement is keep things realistic and realize that nobody's looking at it from that perspective. So I think it's going to be a great 2020. We've got, some up and coming good, simple changes to the business just to simplify everything and get kind of back to our grassroots of 2020 and hopefully my book will be done.
Gone from your mind.
Gone from my brain. That's, another goal of getting that done and continuing to build on our online training platform and keep that moving forward and get that off the ground as well. So some good stuff, some good personal goals, and just some good overall business goals to watch out for. And if anybody wants us to talk about a topic, just send us a message.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think or what you want to hear about, and we're happy to talk about it.